controlling and using Accudraw. Let's go ahead and load the Accudraw by clicking on this icon right here. And like I said, Accudraw is always used in combination with another tool. So I'm going to use my place line tool first here to kind of demonstrate some scenarios of using the Accudraw and kind of how it works. Let's say I need to come out here and I need to draw a line, maybe a horizontal line over 15 foot. Well, if I don't have Accudraw on, let's say I close it, and I come in here and I left click to start my line, I could draw it over and I could probably get it close, but it may not be perfectly horizontal or vertical depending on how I want to draw it. So that's where you come in here. I'll make sure my Accudraw is loaded. I'm going to change my attributes here to white, that way you can see the line. Now I come in here and I left click to start my line. You'll see my compass around it. Now I'm going to demonstrate majority of this in the XY mode for right now. We'll go to the polar mode later on. Let's say I need to draw a horizontal line over 10 foot. All I need to do is pull it in the direction that I want to go. Let's say I want to go to the right. Pull it over in the direction that I want to go. Type in the value that I want to put in. Let's say 10 foot. I type in 10. And now if I move my mouse up and down, you'll notice that it's going to be locked to that unit that I just put in there as I move it up and down. If I want a horizontal line 10 foot over and I don't want to go in my Y direction, all I got to do is make sure it's locked, and you'll kind of see it jump a little bit. You'll kind of have a little bit of leeway there to move your mouse up and down, but if you go too far, it's going to want to go up or down. You'll see it kind of jump or lock into your X axis. If that's what you want, you'll left click to drop it off, and we're finished. We can right click to reset the tool if we're done with it, or we can do the same thing for your Y mode. Let's say I need to go up 8 foot. Left click to start the line, pull it up in the direction that I want to go. You don't have to get into this box here. All you have to do is pull it in the direction that you want to go, and it automatically knows inside your Accudraw box where it should place it at. So as I'm moving it up, I need to go up 8 foot. I type in 8, and I can left click to drop it off, and I'm finished. Simple as that. Also, if you need to go to the left or going down, which puts in a negative value, you don't necessarily have to put in that negative value because it knows what direction that you want to go from that last data point that you just selected. So if I want to go over to the left instead of the right, and I want to draw a horizontal line 12 foot, just pull it in the direction that you want to go, type in the value, left click to drop it off, and you're finished. So like I said, using your XY mode, there's no need to get into this box and type in the value because it knows what direction that you want to go from your last data point. Or you can also come in here, and let's say I need to go over, maybe go over 10 foot and 5 foot down. We can do that also. We left click to start our line. We'll just start at this endpoint right here using the key point snap. I'll snap to it. I pull it over in the direction that I want to go. Let's say it's 10 foot over. I'll type in 10. Hit the tab key on your keyboard to lock in that value. Now as I move my cursor up and down, it's just going to go in the Y direction. So if I want to go down a certain value now, all I need to do is pull it in the direction that I want to go. Type in 5. We'll say it needs to go 5 foot down. I'll type in 5. Left click to drop it off, and we're finished. Another thing in your Accudraw box here that we're going to demonstrate in this video is your smart lock. So let's say we're going over and we're drawing a line over in this direction to the right. Let's say we want to stop it at this vertical line right here, but we want to keep our line horizontal. Well, right now, I started my line, and if I go up here, of course I'm going to have a diagonal line. What you can do is, if you want to keep it locked in a certain value, maybe your X value or your Y value, what you can do is pull it over in your X value, if that's the direction that you want to go, and then hit the enter key on your keyboard. What it will do is lock out your other value, which is the Y value. So as I move my mouse up and down now, you'll see that my line is not going up or down. It's actually still going in my X direction to the next point that I want to go to. So if I wanted to stop it at a certain point, maybe at this point, I could do that. I could snap to it and drop it off. Or maybe this one right here. Let's say I want to drop this horizontal line to stop at this endpoint right here. I can do that. All I need to do is snap to it, left click to drop it off, and we're finished. So that's what the smart lock does by hitting the enter key on your keyboard. It locks it to just to go in that value. Just like what I did here. I just locked it whenever I went down. It's just going to go in the Y direction. It's not going to go in your X direction whatsoever. So that's what the smart lock allows you to do. Now if we come in here, we showed you a few things with your XY mode. Just keep in mind that you don't have to get into this box right here using your XY mode. Now if we switch it over to the polar mode, and all you have to do is make sure your Accudraw is highlighted, hit the space bar on your keyboard, and changes over to the polar mode. This top one is the distance, this bottom one is the angle. So now if I come in here, and I'm just going to come in here and delete these items, go back to my place line tool, make sure my Accudraw dialog box is highlighted. Now I come in here and I left click to start my line. You'll notice that my compass now, instead of being a square, it's a circle. So that indicates that I'm in the polar mode. In here, using the polar mode, you do need to make sure it's flashing in the box that you're wanting to put that value in. So right now it's flashing in my distance, and if I know there's a distance that's locked, let's say maybe I need to go over 12 foot, of course it's flashing in my distance. I type in 12, I'll type in tab to lock it in, and then now I can put in my distance, let's say 30 degrees. I'll type in 30, and then now all I have to do is left click to drop it off. Now I have my line placed out there. Now if I come back in here and I draw another line, left click to start it, you'll notice now it's flashing inside my angle and not my distance. So just kind of keep in mind whenever you're using the polar mode, look and see where it's flashing at before you put in the value. Because right now it's flashing in my angle, so if I'm just want to put in an angle, I could do that. I could type in 45 degrees, and I can go to whatever point that I need to go to. If I'm just arbitrarily placing it out there, I can left click to drop it off. Or if there's a distance value that I need to put in here too, of course I just click on my tab key to lock that in. Then now I can type in the value that I need, or I can just arbitrarily place that line out there. But like I said, whenever you're using the Accudraw in the polar mode, just make sure it's flashing in the correct box before you put in or type in the number that you need to put in. So just kind of keep that in mind. Now we demonstrated a lot of the Accudraw options through here where we're drawing a perfectly horizontal line or perfectly vertical line, or using the polar mode, using the place line tool. You can use Accudraw with a lot of other tools that are inside here too. And like I said, Accudraw is always used in combination with another tool. So let's say I come out here, and I'm going to delete out these two, and I come in here and I have a design. I go down to my design pull down, and I'm just going to place some cells out here. See if I can find a couple here. That'll work for this example. And I come in here, I'm going to close this down. I have my Accudraw box still open. I'm going to click on the space bar to bring it back to my XY mode. Let's say I need to copy this cell maybe to another point, but maybe I need to move it over or copy it over so many units over or so many units down, or just perfectly horizontal or whatever. We can do that. Let's say I need to move it. So I'll go down to my move tool, or I can get to my move tool here, select it where I want to move it from, and now as long as I have my Accudraw box open and I have it highlighted, I can move it over, and I can define the distance that I want to move it. If I'm just arbitrarily placing it out there or moving it, I move it to wherever I need to go. Or let's say I need to move it over 15 foot over and 2 foot down. Pull it in the X direction, type in 15, tab to lock it in. Now I'll move it up. So I need to move it up 2 foot. Type in 2. Left click, drop it off, and we're finished. Or let's say I need to copy something. So I need to copy this cell right here. Copy. I'll left click to identify where I want to copy it from. Maybe I just want to copy it up 5 units up in my Y direction. So all I would need to do is pull it up in my Y direction, type in 5, make sure I don't move too far from your Y value here, that way it's still locked in. Left click to drop it off, and we're finished. And then I can do it again also if I wanted to, just like what I did there. So like I said, you can use Accudraw in combination with many of your tools that are through here to enhance your production in your plan drawings or your bridge drawings or whatever drawings that you're working with.